On today's show, sparks fly as workers shape steel into solid boxes of security. The end result of all this work, worthy of some serious R&D. Today, we blow open the story behind Liberty Safes. People are passionate about outdoor equipment. Get this. Americans spend more than $20 billion a year on gear. But no one ever really sees how their stuff gets made.
Well, that's where we come in. Each week, we throw open the factory doors and give you a behind-the-scenes look at how your favorite gear is made.
Made for the Outdoors is brought to you by Board Review Lodge.
Maple Grove Lock and Safe sure seems to sell a lot of safes these days. Look at that, sold and sold. You know, they become pretty popular for folks who like to store guns and ammo and even family valuables or heirlooms. Liberty Safe seems to be the choice. I think you'll understand why when you see how these safes get made for the outdoors.
Stark mountain peaks line Utah's valley. The town of Payson sits tucked right up against the Wasatch Range.
Just on the edge of the mountains, this larger-than-life complex, home to an absolutely iconic U.S. brand.
Liberty Safes, a business close to 3 decades old.
This business started in storage units. Basically, just we're doing maybe one safe every 2 days. The facility has grown from 2 or 3 little small factories into this large factory that's 320,000 square feet.
CEO Steve Allred offered us a peek behind Liberty's closed doors to better understand Liberty's production process. It all starts over by the loading docks.
So the entire process starts right here. 2 times a day, the trucks are delivering all U.S.-made steel, what they call hot-rolled P&O steel. P&O stands for pickled and oiled. It's an old phrase, but all it means is this stuff is etched with acid to get rid of the rust, and then it's oiled to make sure it's good forever.
Each 14,000-pound roll sits labeled for specific lines of safes. Safe doors and backs come in as flat sheets. Sean Wollstenhume winds steel off the roll and threads it through a decoiling machine.
Straighten it out to a flat sheet. Then from there we take the coil or the flat sheet and punch it out.
Punch it out means to cut and prep the metal to become the body of the safe. Safes darn near every employee around here believe in.
I gotta ask you, do you own a Liberty safe?
I own 2.
Of course he does.
This line is where 70% of Liberty's safes come to life.
Punch station is just incredible when you think about the amount of pressure it must take to shape.
Now, the flattened and prepped steel enters what engineers call roll forming.
It's a little bit tricky to see what's going on in there, but essentially this machine is taking that flat steel and it's starting to shape the sides of the safe. And you can see what it looks like when it pops out on that far end.
The sheet pops out ready to take shape, literally. Watch this.
They'll then move over into our wing bender, which will bend the sides of the box up into the box shape.
Liberty Safe's strength comes partially from a safe box made only of 2 pieces of steel, the box and the back.
After we go through the wing bender, that's where our hand process really starts.
Welders first tack the back onto the safe. They weld just enough to hold the steel plate in place.
It's really important on that process because they're tacking that back on so the robots can understand and know what to weld.
Ah yes, the robot. I name it a Libertron.
Robots can give you a really consistent, really perfect weld every time. And it's really pretty. We don't even grind the weld, it's so pretty.
Finally, I get to see the bright lights of the big city of Payson.
It takes just a few seconds to complete the single bead weld.
When the robot's done with them, they start to look like safes, right? Now it's time to clean them up a little bit.
Grinders get to work. They clean up the corner welds and any spatter. While they grind away the day, a high-powered laser cuts doors to shape. Now welders attach the safe's front door. They space it just right and lock it into place with heavy-duty welds. Even in slow-mo, Jake Farley flies.
Get quality people working for a quality company, and that's why we got some of the best products. He's what makes Liberty Safe who they are.
Jake preps a pile of safes in a single shift.
I'd say anywhere from 140 to 175. I've been here a while. A lot of it is you're used to it.
Oh, it's more than that.
Absolutely. I put a lot of hard work into these.
Okay, while Jake keeps cranking out safes, I'll take a quick break. When we come back, an eternal march as Liberty Safes earn their colors.
Made for the Outdoors is brought to you by Border View Lodge, Ice Castle Fish Houses, Aquarius Home Services, Car Arms, and by Keystone Light. Keystone Light, always smooth. Celebrate responsibly.
Under the watchful peaks of Utah's Wasatch Mountains, Liberty cranks out high-security safes.
All right, let sparks fly.
With the safe boxes now built and doors attached, Jake Farley's crew preps safes.
Getting all the nicks out of it. Just grind it out.
Whatever gets welded together, we grind it down and make it quality, send it on to paint.
But not before Wes Condor takes a peek. Quality control double-checks all the welds and cleans out the boxes. So important for the safe's next few hours.
Any good safe deserves a wash, right? Think of this area as the biggest shower you've ever seen. Once they're ready to go, they need to be rinsed off, they get etched with a chemical, and then rinsed a couple of times. Now they're ready to earn their colors.
In here, the paint room, where an eternal march of safes moves down the slowly creeping conveyor.
It is such a cool process to watch. But there's more to this story than what you might see. Let me explain. Those little paint particles, they're actually electrically charged, and the safe is grounded so that when the nozzles spray, all those particles absolutely stick like a magnet.
The safes now, ever so slowly, run through a two-stage oven.
The infrared sets off the gelling process, and then a convection oven's what cures it out over a 30 to 45 minute cycle.
You can literally see the paint get shiny as it starts to melt and gel. Let's sneak next door while the paint takes a little time to cure.
By the way, just in case you're wondering how much Fireboard Liberty goes through, see these two giant piles behind me? That's the stash for today's work. One day.
The Fireboard, the work of Anthony Sullivan, the guy who preps fire protection. That giant water jet cuts layers of Fireboard for each of the safes. This material, much like drywall with higher moisture content. Anthony separates finished pieces from the scrap.
I haven't been allowed to have any jobs today. Finally. Woo! I finally get to do something here today. Is this a part or junk?
That is junk.
All right, just making sure. Junk? I want you to know how much I appreciate you letting me work.
Oh yeah, I appreciate workers.
Well, except when this happens.
He's gonna be so mad at me.
Now when that happens, I make my guys sweep up the entire place.
I properly earn a broom.
This is what happens to the host when you screw up.
I'm on janitor's duty as now painted safes slowly march out of the oven. Another quick QC check, and then Zach Byers gets his hands on each safe.
When was the last time you screwed one of these up?
It happens. So,
Not today.
not today.
Zach wipes Liberty's logo onto each safe. Liberty, not just a name, but a belief among these people.
Yeah, overall, there's a lot of pride that we're made in the USA.
Suppose that's why the American flag decorates the production facility. We find them all over. A simple yet profound gesture. And part of the reason company CEO Steve Allred suggested Liberty install another production line made up of robots.
My passion is to bring jobs back to the U.S. and build the product. When you think about automation, instead of reducing jobs, we increased over 80 jobs back in the U.S. Our employees are basically the key assets to the success of our business.
You better understand back over on the high volume line where people work hard. With paint and logos dried, main assembly starts.
Every single one of the safes gets one of these little boxes. This is like the recipe sheet. These are the instructions so they know exactly what's going into the individual safe.
A burst, a quick draw.
Ricky Sawyer, fastest glue gun in the West. You know, if I were to try that, it'd just be a hot mess, right?
This is where we install the Fireboard to give us what fire rating each safe will need.
The more Fireboard workers add, the higher the fire rating. Now safe from heat, Liberty adds another layer of protection.
They're getting ready to install these locking bars into the door of the safe. Traditionally, safes were locked with round pins.
But Liberty engineers discovered a better mousetrap of sorts.
This is our latest and greatest. This is patent-pending military-style locking bars. And the difference between these and the round pins is obviously you can see that you have more surface coverage so that it grabs the safe and protects it against a pry attack.
Question is, just how do you figure that out? Well, up next we'll show you. A tease, it takes a few sticks of dynamite and a real appetite for destruction.
Made for the Outdoors is brought to you by Husqvarna, Iron Jaws, Banks Outdoors, FVP, Verified Proven, and by Warner's Dock.
Liberty safes. Simply stated, they are steel boxes built to protect stuff. No secret, Liberty prides itself on quality. So much so, this company decided to have a little fun and maybe, just maybe, prove a point.
Basically 60% stronger than most safes, and you can see it on our videos.
Ah yes, the videos. Liberty's version of R&D. Like that one time they tried to blow up their safes with dynamite.
We've put dynamite inside our safes. We've dropped 1,000-pound blocks of cement onto our safes. What we're proving is that the structural integrity of a Liberty safe is much more superior than the competitors.
And you guys have fun, too.
Not my favorite thing in the world, but I love the impact that it has to the company. But I hate destroying the products that we build. It proved that they're stronger than even what we did when we designed them.
Prettier, too. With boxes built, painted, and now protected from fire, it's time to lock them up. You can get a safe with either a mechanical lock or a push button. Turns out a lot more people now choose digital versus mechanical.
Digital locks have come so far that they're very reliable. In fact, we get comments from people asking, well, in the event of an EMP, is my digital lock still going to work? And they are EMP resistant.
Another piece of the security puzzle goes right along the edge where the safe door meets the body.
There's actually a secret to this stuff. It's called polysol. And if heat gets to it at 212 degrees, it expands and completely seals off the safe, keeping the smoke and the heat out.
Okay, now Liberty trades steel for an iron. Actually, a steamer. Tammy Kinross takes the wrinkles out of the safe door storage sleeves.
It's just like ironing.
Seems like overkill, right? But this step proves detail in Liberty's production process.
I remember when I was little, we had ironing day on Sundays, and I hated it. I didn't like it. Now look what I'm doing.
And now you're making a job out of it.
10 hours a day.
Tammy's story also proves what this company means to Utah locals. Tammy's husband drives a forklift, so does her daughter. Oh, and Tammy's son welds.
And I have a nephew coming tomorrow for an interview.
Really?
I'm trying to get my sister on too.
Liberty's CEO loves such family commitment.
I love walking through this plant 4 to 5 times a day. One, I can see the people. I mean, I remember where I came from. They're my people, they're my responsibility, but yeah, it just humbles me, to be honest with you, to be a part of this company and this employee base that we have.
Tammy wraps up her work and passes the covers along to finishing.
I kind of thought Ricky was the fastest gun in the place.
Oh man, yeah.
But she's pretty good.
Veronica Castro-Nambo builds doors and safe interiors.
She's one of the best. It's amazing how many staples goes into this process. Hey Veronica, you want a race?
Workers also build shelves and gun racks.
Yeah.
Everything created in-house, right down to the trim.
What we do is staple all the interior that goes inside the safe.
Angelica Perez Cortez leads the interior builders.
Everything in here, I know how to do it.
How do you memorize all that?
Practice, years of practice.
So at Christmas time, who's the gift wrapper in your house?
Me, it really is.
Easy to see why.
It's a production plant, but we try to create an environment that's healthy for our employees. We try to simplify the process. We really do mean that, our employees come first. It's a good atmosphere. That's what we try to create.
Made for the Outdoors is brought to you by Lacan Marine, Mouse Mix, and by FVP, Verified Proven.
My, how time flies.
It's crazy to think that this morning, this safe was that roll of steel that you saw, and now it's almost complete.
By late afternoon, Liberty's finishing team wraps up the production process. Workers add a handle on the outside and stack in shelves and dividers inside. With a big huff and a bump, the safe rolls to the next station. Now, Tiffany Gurley gets one last chance to check out the work.
I inspect the safes to make sure the quality's good. Flaws in the paint, flaws in the box itself. The lock works, the mechanism works.
Tiffany knows exactly what to look for. She's been around a while.
22 years.
When you're done with them, they are literally complete.
All done.
Each safe goes right into a bag and box for shipping. Forklifts constantly move product around the facility. Most going out first go into this spot, Liberty's most grand warehouse.
Look at this place. Right now, about 8,330 safes in here. Give or take a dozen or so. And here's the thing. They said this is enough inventory to barely get them through 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's insane how massive our warehouse is. We're in a 205,000 square foot facility. It's football fields, it is.
When I started in this business 25 years ago, I was like, wow, we're gonna saturate the business. But as we looked at it, if you take just the gun section of our business, which is only one piece, there's 34 million people.
We like to see high turnarounds, and so just when you think you've tapped the market and you can't make any more safes, there's thousands upon thousands upon thousands of safes that we continue to manufacture and build.
A company started 3 decades ago in the most meager of spots. Now, a business big enough to climb mountains.
We pride ourselves in quality, innovation, customer service. We bring a quality product to the market. It's American made by American made workers, and that's what our customers want.
People also want a high level of security, and now they get it with Liberty. We'll see you next week. Look at this. All I did is touch it.